You don't want the pretzels here, do you?
No.
How's that? That's not bad.
No, it's good for a 90-year-old woman.
That's just a nonsense thing you said, right?
Yeah, that's all it is.
You know what Susan often likes to do when living with me? She goes like this. After about, this is me. I have two kinds of cereal.
Yeah.
I have cashy, honey. Don't go to sleep.
Not yet.
I'm not even an hour into it. I haven't even brought up spelt.
You know what Andy says? Breakfast is the least interesting meal of the day.
That's not what I say.
Oh, that's what you imply.
By the time I'm done with it, I have cashy, and then I have this other kind, which the name is escaping me. So
that's okay.
Cascadian Farms honey nuts.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm done crinkling both bags, she can't hear anything in the house.
I'm completely irritated just hearing about it.
She goes, "Excuse me, can you go back on the remote, the thing I'm watching?" Because I couldn't hear one word that was said once you started. Because it's important that I have two boxes, because one cereal is probably a little healthier for you, which is the cashy.
Yeah, you do this a lot.
I do it every day. It's my thing.
No, but you do the mix the bad thing with a little bit of the good thing to make yourself feel better.
Oh,
I make the beverage with a little bit of the sugar, but then some of the thing.
No, I'm not putting frosted.
Because God won't see it if I put something non-caloric on top of it.
I'm not putting Lucky Charms together with cream of wheat. That's not what I'm doing. They're both very, very healthy cereals.
Sure. It's just, a carb bomb. It's just a big carb bomb.
Well, that's because you're post-carb. You're a man who's post-carb in your life.
Yes.
So you've seen through where this is going for anybody.
Yeah.
And you've decided that you're not going to deal with it anymore. I don't know. My observations fell off with the very last sentence. Look how cute. Lucky, the world's lucky to have Lucky. I found out how to do vibrato. You want to hear me do it? I did it my way.
That's how all the best singers do it, is jiggle their finger on their throat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And the rest is out. I don't know what the other words are. And I did it my way. I had so much fun. That was an example of I didn't care how upset you were getting.
Yeah.
I didn't care how much you hated
like
me.
A fucking kid in a bathtub.
It was like, I'm going for this obnoxious thing now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And I'm
selling new leaf, huh?
I'm selling it. Well, good evening. Good evening.
Wow.
Good evening. Who is that? Albert Hitchcock? It's not Albert, right?
No.
It's Alfred?
Yeah. and that wasn't it.
And it's Alfred Brooks? No.
No.
Okay.
No, stop.
Okay, I will stop. You know what it is? I'm all jacked up.
Yeah, on what?
Iron.
Really? This is the solution to your
That's not the solution, but I went to I've been seeing a hematologist on the side.
Yeah.
Who have I turned into? Am I a DJ now? Or am I like a morning guy? Am I those two guys on the Sonic commercials? Which one are you on that Sonic commercial?
I'm the guy outside the car.
No. That's not a choice. Do you know the two? What would you say the two personalities?
I'm the longer suffering one.
Okay, so there is one guy who's like, stop it.
Yeah.
But which one is he? Which one is the guy who's a little
How do you say? The annoying one and the slightly less annoying one? How is the Sonic
Do you know the difference?
No.
I think, you know why? I think that's a trick. They both at different times are ridiculous.
Yes.
That's what's kept it going.
It's like us.
That's what's kept it going. Because you told me, I can't tell you how many times you told me that you don't even like Jack in the Box, but those commercials with the talking mascot or whatever the hell he is really draws you in. Mm-hmm. I hate that man. I hate the man who does that voice.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I will never eat a Jack in the Box. Wow. So I win again. Is this the personality you don't like?
It's one of a menagerie, really.
A menagerie?
Yes.
Is it a glass menagerie?
No, it's an ass menagerie.
I don't like that. I don't know what a menagerie is. Is it a collection?
A display, a collection, yes.
Oh, it doesn't have to be bad, right?
No.
Diorama, diorama, diorama. Josh, there's a whole world of song parodies. You know the song Dianu?
I do.
Diorama.
You know what it means?
No.
It would have been enough.
You mean if God, is this another one of those Jewish holidays? If God had just said hello to us, it would have been enough.
Yes.
If we woke up and we saw bread that wasn't baked, that would have been great.
All right.
Die and unu osis oshi I am me Mitzrayim oshi I am Dianu. Dianu.
That was wrong, except for the me Mitzrayim.
Okay, me Mitzrayim Dianu. There's no me Mitzrayim, I don't think.
No, me Mitzrayim means in Egypt.
It does?
Yes.
Because I put that in my, the one Andy and Bill hit, right?
No.
You do. You can't tell me we haven't discussed the Andy and Bill. Our best bit was me doing. We were a duo, by the way.
That I know.
And we did. The character was I was Jaime Morrisdein.
Yes.
An Israeli pop star.
Right.
And I've been accused that my music is ripped off from Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Yeah.
So then I come on. He goes, "Is it true that you?" And I say, "Who?" That's the first joke. Who? And so here are some of the songs. Shalom Aleichem, would you give me a break? Me Mitzrayim, Onachis, don't aggravate me. I was sitting in my kibbutz when a man from the Knesset called me from Tel Aviv. That was our best.
That is like summer camp talent night level.
Oh, you
shit.
can't believe it. It is Dave Higgins' favorite bit, because I think Dave Higgins actually saw maybe a video of it.
You know he was belittling you, right?
Of course.
Okay, good.
But he did actually laugh. I mean, we also went, LL woman, give up your ticket. Come on. That's not bad. And the bit ended with me still not admitting that I had gotten the music from Jim Morrison.
It ended?
Well, the duo went. I was offered money. O'Brien and Valdez offered to buy our act.
Really?
Do you remember them?
I do.
Oh.
Sort of.
But I wouldn't sell. I mean, I wanted to sell, and Bill wouldn't sell. And Bill was right at the time, but now, who cares? We should have.
Yes, you should have.
And welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hi.
What a week it's been, right?
Yeah.
The Raptors.
Right.
That was great.
It was. If you're Canadian.
Anybody has to love them. Golden State is, first of all, I'm going to try to say the next couple sentences without my usual obnoxious personality, but I don't feel like Golden State is representative of any team I've ever. It's not an LA team by any because
no,
in other words,
it's a San Francisco Bay Area team,
right? But they call it Golden State, so I think they like it. It's like the California Angels. They'd like it.
No,
if we all rooted for them.
They did it so it wouldn't be Oakland or San Francisco.
Right.
They started as the San Francisco Warriors.
Oh, I think I do remember that.
Well, they started before that, but
who were they before that?
They were originally in the Bay Area. They were the San Francisco Warriors, and then switched to the Golden State Warriors to make it more inclusive.
Right. Well, you just said it yourself. They did want to transcend the Bay.
Yes.
The Bay and become but all of California. They wouldn't throw me out.
They wanted to be the Bay Area's team.
What is Golden? Are they the Golden State?
Because they were in Oakland.
Are they the Golden State Warriors?
Yes, they are.
Is this before the Golden State Killer? They didn't know about that?
They did not.
Golden State predates all of that. But anyway, I don't care about them. I mean, I just never rooted for them. I don't even know one. Can you tell me a traditional Golden State like that I would love? Like Oscar Robertson maybe, or, like a guy from the Golden State that I would go, I love that guy when he used to be on.
Chris Mullin?
I do love Chris Mullin. Who else? Who else you got?
Who else was a great warrior?
Anyway, what's this argument mean? You know they were great warriors, but I never really. So Toronto being the country.
No, my only problem is that you're like trying to like take shots at them for trying to be an LA team, which I contend they aren't.
No, not an LA team. No, I would never say that. A California team.
Yeah.
Has it ever worked that any team named after the whole state was rooted for by the whole state?
The Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Good night, Irene.
And it would also be Green Bay Packers, too?
No, that's not a state so much.
Oh, my God. This is why I don't think I would be good on these kind of shows. No, but these kind of shows where you have to... Because as soon as you said that, I was like, I got dizzy because I couldn't remember anything. Okay, well, that's, you keep that as it... Be that as it may.
Carolina Panthers encompasses 2 states.
Why?
Do I have to really
North Carolina and South Carolina?
No, East and West.
But that's so... You know what? That's why I probably don't watch them. Where am I going to watch them from? Raleigh? Or do I go down to a part of South Carolina I can't think of? Tuscaloosa? Name one city, if you're so smart, in South Carolina. Go ahead, genius.
Charleston.
Okay, and the other one would be? And 2 more, and 5 more, and 7 more. And now name the flower, the state flower of South Carolina. The Lindsey Graham. What's their favorite cookie? The Lindsey Graham. Cracker. Graham Cracker. Write it down.
No, don't.
I am going to call him Graham Cracker.
Okay.
Do you think it's the first person who had? Hey, wait a second. You can't control my bad comedy off the podcast. You're afraid you might hear it, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I had an iron infusion this morning.
Yeah.
That's why I think I'm acting. Well, it's psychological. There's no way I could possibly feel it this soon, but I do feel energized in a metallic way.
Sort of a Tony Stark kind of way.
In a Tony Stark kind of way. It is even though I texted to my sister that, because it does look like rusty nails are going into your, have you ever had one?
Did you get a tetanus shot?
I actually thought about that. Because I actually thought, should I ask, are they made from rusty nails?
Right.
Come here. Okay, I almost really, for a second, don't understand. Well, what do you mean for a second? I don't quite understand what iron is. Is it a naturally occurring ore?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And so steel, that's not a naturally occurring. That's a
iron ore is the base product that makes steel.
Now, is this a class I missed, or just in a basic intelligence level? And it's weird that you would think of having it go into your system. It's a weird thing. It didn't hurt.
Getting a metal injection is weird.
Yeah, it seems weird. And actually, one of the side effects could be a taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
which I didn't get. But they put the on the top of my here. I'm showing Josh where they put the, what's it called? IV?
Your forearm? Oh.
IV. Because I thought IV, I know I've been in the hospital, but I wasn't thinking about the IV when I got my appendix out.
Right.
But in this case, was the only time in my life I've had an IV, just like, oh, I'm going to have an IV separate from an incident.
Yeah.
And it is more painful than taking blood, but not that bad.
Yeah, it depends how much they...
And it
depends how many tries it takes them to get into the vein.
Well, even it took her one try, but I mean, she's still like futzing around.
I have slippery ass veins, and so there's been a lot of times where people are just digging around in my hand with a needle.
I can't believe that they don't have a thing like Otezla that you can take just to have bigger veins. You know, for heroin addicts or.
Yeah.
So now it's all out.
Yeah.
It took a half hour.
You have some refrigerator magnets stuck to your head.
Bing! Oh, I like comedy. I like all its forms. I changed my name to Ferris. That's not going to kill at a chemistry convention? Huh? I'm not tipping it. But
you sure you didn't get an Iron E injection?
Let's go. This is the comedy cheering group for that. That's how much I like that joke. Bum, 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 bum. Let's go. That's going to work. I hope that works for the speech. I came up with one thing for the speech already.
Oh, good.
Which was Evil is coming to CBS in the fall. Oh, Les Moonves is back? Because that's a show that's coming out in the fall.
Yeah, but
I fucked it up.
Well, no, it's like if you want to hold up the sign and then quip to it. Otherwise, it's like.
Oh, it's got to be no, but you'll see.
If I start seeing promo that way.
But maybe they'll take it off because of my cutting edge sharp humor.
Maybe so. Stop burning things on Twitter.
Yeah, no. And I'm proud to say that's the only thing I've done this year where I did that, which is always there's no really good reason to do it. I was kind of, you could say you're testing it.
Yeah.
So in general,
test it in the club.
There's no reason to. No reason to. So, note taken.
Damn it, Wheezy.
Now, also what I'd like to do is start seeing bad comedy. Now, I'm not going to turn the podcast into discussion about the speech, but I did see a Jeff Dunham documentary.
Yeah.
And so, you know how people, you've said it, and Susan said it, and Leno has said it. Stop talking about Leno.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good, I think we've passed that rule.
Right.
But now, out of pure boredom, I'm watching a Jeff Dunham documentary.
Is this like an A&E thing? Or
It is an A&E thing. Now, how'd you know it was an A&E thing?
Just because I'm trying to think of who the fuck would make a Jeff Dunham documentary. It must be A&E.
I don't even think, to me, it's like if Robert Hartman is interviewed for half of it, is that a documentary?
No.
That's his manager.
That's TV product.
That's TV product. And it's all about, basically, it's defensive. If you were going to make, like, I could see me making a defensive documentary, like, well, I like those people.
I think Jeff's racism is more covert than you're saying.
They say you can't be politically incorrect these days. That's his argument.
Sure.
But like I point out,
But a puppet can.
well, as I point out to Susan, one of the reasons why Ahmed the Dead Terrorist is a bad choice is because the name means you're saying it's a Muslim guy.
Yeah.
So
also he has
what does he have?
an accent.
Oh yeah, well, that's interesting because Jeff Dunham, I'm sure, would love to just do it because that's my point. Why isn't it not Timothy McVeigh, the Dead Terrorist?
Not as funny. Not as funny.
If you think it's funny at all, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to stipulate that if you think it's funny at all. So then Jay Leno's on there. So
no, but if you came to me as a consultant and you were going to go, okay, which one's going to work? I'm going to go, I got to go with Ahmed.
No. Your assumption is that we're greenlighting the bit.
Yes. No, exactly. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't be like alternatively pitching. Hey, wait.
Right.
I like what you're doing.
Right. How about
we make it more general?
Right.
But then Jay Leno's all of a sudden, and now, I'm sure you can guess the Jay Leno, Jeff Dunham connection easily.
Comedy Magic Club?
Well, that's true too. But what would two things they both be?
Cars?
Yes.
Yeah.
They both have crazy cars.
Right.
And I get the feeling that Jay Leno wouldn't
Does Jeff Dunham have tiny little versions of each one?
He has a Batmobile. No, he has a Batmobile. That's a real version of it.
No, but does he have a tiny version of each car that goes alongside it, is my question.
Oh, that goes along Jay?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't care.
It's a puppet joke. It's Jeff Dunham. Does he have a little thing to go next to him, for fuck's sake?
I'm so glad. And there's nothing more enjoyable than seeing you get angry because there's one thing not to get the joke, but to not even get the joke.
This pure thickness.
Yeah, that's what I find astounding. So I would bet that Jay Leno and Jeff Dunham would not be normally hanging out at all. I don't think they would be. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Jay Leno, he used to, from what I know, he used to make fun of acts like Jeff Dunham. And he was actually, I'm actually don't agree with the idea that you can't do ventriloquism, that just by doing it, it's bad. Because I like Jay Johnson. I like some ventriloquists.
Yeah.
I like the Wayland Flowers, and I don't know much about him. But the point is, Jay Leno would be more, hey, pump it.
Right.
That would be the traditional Jay Leno.
Right.
So in this documentary, Jay Leno is saying, Jeff Dunham's like, I know you don't probably like that I do ventriloquism. This is what they're saying in their riot. And he's like, well, I say, he goes, actually, I just know that, to me, I don't care where it's coming out of. I just care the quality of the joke. So basically, Jay Leno is analyzing ventriloquism very technically.
Right.
I don't care if it's Mortimer Snerd or it's. So it was just a great thing. So I'm probably going to talk about it. It was just a wonderful hour for me that I wasn't expecting. So what's more that we could watch? Because I want to watch that movie. And here's the thing I'm worried about. I don't want to get into a thing where I'm just putting down people who bother me. Yeah. But I would like to put down, like, Mindy Kaling. She really bothers me.
Okay. And that's good, because that's a target from this century.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's it's one of those ones that people are going to get mad at you about for sure. But I'll participate. Yeah,
but she has a thing now where she's it's called Late. Have you seen it? Late Night. It's called Late Night. It's a movie. I think it's a movie or it's a
movie.
All right, I'm going to watch that. You don't have to watch it.
Okay, I won't.
Anyway, I feel optimistic Because in a lot of ways, it is harder to do that speech just on the basis of nobody really is viewing comedy as a whole.
Yeah, not everybody. You don't have that quite as many common touchstones as 27 years ago.
No, but every year what's more of it is like every year just focusing on it makes you see if you want to see, Like, I don't focus on TV that much. I don't focus, but something usually emerges and you can, in your decision to focus on it helps. Like the year Seinfeld was pure gold when Seinfeld didn't want to play colleges and the gay French king.
Right.
So, we have time to have someone. Is there anybody doing something? I can't think of any comic who's under. Who seems to be under the gun are these like white men, these like racist.
Just white men, pretty much.
White men in general, right? But like some of these people, like Steve, like did you follow this Steven Crowder thing? Okay.
You're exhausted.
I'm exhausted because I just went on a long run where I was.
Was it an Ironman?
What is an Ironman? That's like
it's a fucked up long triathlon.
Can you imagine? Well, these triathlon things like the Ironman. If you go downtown in our city, there's like 3 or 4 of these ridiculous gyms, like the burning shed.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look inside, it's basically people agree to get tortured by somebody leading the class, 3-minute rounds. What is the point of that? That cannot be good for you. None of that can be good for you. And why would you need somebody?
I don't know. I'm just picturing you standing looking at the window at
I love it. Yeah. And people yelling. There's a lot of yelling.
Yeah. They work out differently than me.
I think it's a basic.
I picked my trainer because she doesn't give a shit.
Right.
So it works out well.
Don't recommend her right after saying that.
There's no yelling. She has no stakes. Really.
Well, it's a relationship can be abused very easily. I know you don't watch.
There's no trauma bonding in our training session.
Did I bring that up, or you brought that up?
You did.
Oh God, what was I wearing? I was very excited that I knew a new psychological term.
Yeah,
that's all I have since last week.
I learned a thing.
I'm listening to a podcast about payola, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that payola. First of all, I didn't know anything about Alan Freed, really.
Right.
So when you learn about him, it's interesting, really interesting. And then you learn that I didn't know it was all Dick Clark and all these people. I was like, and they're claiming, well, I haven't listened to the whole thing, but it still goes on in the 80s and maybe even now, but I'm not exactly sure how it still goes on. There's still money passing hands for to place things in a more favorable position.
Sure. I have no trouble believing that whatsoever.
Yeah. But things like the Billboard or the Who charts, I always thought or the New York Times bestseller list. I mean, I never thought of those as rigged necessarily. They're probably not, or maybe they are, or who knows.
Well, I mean, I think there are certainly ways to rig them.
That's true, too. Yeah. I mean, I know that New York Times, I mean, there's so many terrible books that end up number one just from the marketing on.
Yeah.
They don't ever say the number one, it's also great. They just say it's the number one New York Times bestseller. I hope I'm done with this fucking book stuff. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Can't you stop me?
Not
Punch
so
me?
far.
Kick me under the table.
No.
What am I doing? New York Times material. You know what I don't like, Josh? Although I did get upset when I read that they're not going to be putting political cartoons anymore in
their international edition.
In their international edition.
Yeah, it's pretty cowardly.
It's cowardly is what it is.
Yeah.
I also don't like when one...
We can't trust ourselves.
Yeah. Or we don't want to pay...
We can neither trust ourselves nor stand behind our decisions.
Yeah. It's basically... your job is to provide the world... One of your jobs, you don't have to, but to provide the world with points of view like that.
Right.
And you're saying, we don't have time. We could be easily fooled.
We don't understand anti-Semitic tropes. How would we? We're just the New York Times.
Like my parents got very, I mean, I think it's a difficult thing. My parents got very upset when the New Yorker ran the Obama, the two different ways that the Obamas were looked at, like as terrorists.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I would have
DAP cover.
What's that?
The terrorist DAP cover.
What's DAP mean?
DAP is like a fist.
Oh, yeah.
Bump.
I don't think I would have necessarily. Yes, I don't think I would have necessarily greenlit that. But I remember listening to that guy because I have problems with him sometimes. Whoever that guy is, David, who's the editor. But he was on a show basically saying you can't please everybody sometimes. But that one, I think that is something you could have caught or not caught. That was just a call that I didn't agree with, that particular one.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they were cowardly about it ultimately.
No, they just, yeah.
They stood behind it.
They stood behind it, right. But they could have also said, I think he was very political about it, because you could have said, on second thought, when I add up how it could be taken offensive, maybe I wouldn't have, it's like, well,
no, but my sense is that he was probably smart enough to know that some people will think this is offensive. It's okay for our magazine to have a controversial cover because people will then be talking about our magazine.
Right. I don't know enough I don't remember enough about it to argue whether it was right or wrong, but just saying we're no longer going to be putting out this product is really depressing. Yeah. Also, I think it's like stand-up or political cartoons. Because there are so many horrible ones, just like any art form, I think people want to easily discard it. I could see how they would discard it just because they don't even see the importance of it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but I disagree with them.
Yeah. And I'm not defending the Sunday funnies like you are always doing. Funky Winker Beans.
No, well, don't get me started on my love of the state of the cartoonian.
I'm over him even hate watching him, because it seems like that state of the cartoonian, it's like it's all about that now.
The state of the cartoonian is just the most uncomfortable piece of television on the weekend, as far as I'm concerned.
Have you ever heard him when he says things like,
I just love him having to come back from State of the Cartoonian to himself going, ha ha ha, how good I did, ha 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 ha.
But every once in a while he also loves to do this thing where is this something that people who would like Trump would also appreciate? I mean, he really has this thing like, you need to respect the people who voted for Trump. That was their choice and they had the choice. Which I know you're going to defend, or I'm taking whatever look on your face and twisting it up to something.
No, I stopped watching Jake Tapper a while back.
Yeah, I can't watch any of the Sunday. I used to like watching the Sunday shows for lack of anything to watch.
Yeah.
But now I can't watch anything. I mean, I can watch the daily.
Well, the Sunday shows are no different than all day on MSNBC,
Yeah, but they're like particularly annoying. I don't like, I like Stephanopoulos, but I don't like the person who takes over for him. Now I sound like an old Jew sitting in a deli talking about them. Let me tell you what's a good show.
I don't like the other man. I don't like fake George Stephanopoulos. I don't like him.
Jonathan Carl.
Bring back my little friend, George.
Jonathan Carl is the poor man's George Stephanopoulos.
You're being a little wise guy, George.
I love that scene where is it two scenes where, oh no, it's one scene where Trump seems to be sitting on his lap or almost falling into him in like the back of a car.
In the back of yeah. It's because there's so much armor on that fucking car that those seats are really narrow and Trump isn't.
Is that, what are they in there?
They're in the Beast. They're in the presidential limo.
Oh, I didn't know there was a presidential limo because I've just...
No, you never realized that the president...
No, I didn't realize it was like a Pope-mobile.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like...
I didn't know there was a state-of-the-art thing.
Yeah, it's heavily armored.
Just always looked like a very nice Lincoln.
Heavily armored, solid rubber tires.
Yeah. Don't forget, he got them to save $1.6 billion on Air Force One. He always has these facts that come out.
Right.
And then they say there's one...
And look, I'm painting it like my plane.
It's unbelievable. I know I say it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable even past the point that we need a new word being unbelievable, to replace unbelievable. It's embarrassing. Shameful. Can't we have been hoodwinked by someone who is more European or something? Somebody clap.
Yeah.
Even that guy.
It's just a one or two notches more levels of sophistication would be a lot less.
You're like Berlusconi. Are you saying Berlusconi was even him with the ha-cha-cha-cha-cha, whatever he was doing? He had a little
But
verb.
he has a good tailor, at least.
So true. I mean, I don't think anybody ever said, "Whoa, those Trump suits are great." I mean, I think he was always a joke in every area. So there's no time that goes, "Well, he brought," the guy who drove me today in the Lyft or whatever was talking about how, "Well, I know he's good at real estate." Or something. Why would you think he's good at real estate?
Because he's been on TV saying how good he is at real estate for 40 years.
You can't say he's good at anything but being a conniving chiseler. That's what he's good at.
A rotten, dirty swindler, if you will.
In the morning. That was a very nice message you left yesterday for your about your dad. What was your dad's birthday?
It was about Father's Day.
I knew it was about Father's Day, and I realized that. But then I realized that my dad's birthday was on Father's Day, which would often happen, I guess.
I would think it probably, yeah. Only one shitty gift to buy him, which is nice.
What? We bought him every year another executive sandbox. Do you remember those?
Yeah, sort of.
They're just like an industrial thing with a rake.
Yeah.
And nobody would ever want. The second worst gift is click, 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 click.
He's doing the kinetic balls.
Click, 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 click. What's the third? What's another one that's just awful on site?
Drinking bird.
The drinking bird. Oh, anything that was like a panic. Don't panic. Here, I gave you a thing.
Yeah.
I gave you a panic button.
Ah.
Because we don't need that today. Nobody needs something to remind them to panic today.
No one needs Spencer's gifts anymore.
How much money do you think has been spent on massage chairs total? I've been in a couple I enjoy, but
yeah.
What it is it's a machine that tries to grind into your muscles.
Yeah.
That approximates your like spine when you sit back like it's a normal chair, right?
Yeah.
And you press this button and it attacks you. It attacks you with grinding things.
Ah.
Or there's one you go neck, and then it goes in there, it gets into that neck, and starts swinging that around.
Yeah.
I used to also like it, those things you get at the crafts fairs that would you go, look at these. They're
Back
like
scratchers?
No, they're bongers, back bongers. They're like a rubber ball, and you hit your back with it because you're a moron. You're really a moron.
Okay.
And they were $20. And so really, that's good? Oh, yeah. Everybody every year buys them, and they bong on their back.
I don't remember back bongers.
Do you remember those dolphin paintings that were big? Nagel, remember Nagel?
Sure.
All right. Nagel's not big anymore.
No, it's weird.
Much to your chagrin.
Massive chagrin.
Southwest style. Forget about it. I know. It sounds like I'm out of material, but I'm not really out of material. How was your week this week, Josh Elvis Weinstein?
My week was pretty good.
Anything exciting? Anything nerve-wracking?
Exciting. A mix of doing a little bit of working on a TV pitch with someone, and doing a little bit of barbecuing, and doing a little bit of videotape dubbing or digitizing still.
Have we talked that I had one of your ribs? I don't know if we've talked about it.
You texted that they were good.
They were excellent ribs, even though they were a little hot, a little cayenne pepper.
A little what?
A little spicy.
Yeah.
And now, Josh, for your pleasure, I think you'll actually enjoy this.
Yeah.
I found this, and I found this very humorous.
Okay.
It's a note from when we were arranging our wedding, which you were at.
Right.
In beautiful...
17 years ago.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this is a note. I don't want to build it up, but I'm very happy about it. So we're writing to the person at the hotel, La Valencia Hotel, about our final choices.
Okay.
Okay. In light of the menu change, and this is a letter written by, we both signed it, Susan and Andy.
Okay.
In light of the menu change as to include a chicken entree, you know where it's going, right?
Yeah, I do.
Good. We decided to not serve the smoked chicken hors d'oeuvres and add the crab cakes. Is the chipotle aioli very spicy? Is the chipotle aioli Very spicy.
I believe that should be read. Is the chipotle aioli spicy? Is it very spicy? Can we
give me a little in light of the menu change.
Can we do a ricotta aioli?
And we don't want this. We don't want the smoked chicken.
In light of the menu change, I was wondering if we could trade the smoked chicken for the crab cakes. Because the smoked chicken might be a little spicy, but then again, I'm worried about the chipotle aioli.
Why are you worried about that?
It might be a little spicy. It might be a little spicy for our people. Our people are very spice sensitive.
Well, we were going through our wedding.
We'll be having Jews.
I know the wedding. Excuse me. I know the wedding's next week, but I'm sorry to call you at home, Michelle. But Susan, who is this?
We both woke up in a bit of a panic.
Who is this?
We both. They knew who it was.
Oh, it's Andy and Susan. With our wedding is 2 weeks from next Saturday. Look, we're still a little unsure because we like Chipotle, we like aioli, but we're worried because
we're not so sure about the juxtaposition.
Yeah, because to be honest, to be frank,
it can't be. I don't want it to be too spicy on my wedding night.
I am curious why you have an email from 17 years ago on your phone.
No, it's not no. What I did was, what are you not the anti-Columbo? You can't figure anything out.
You took a picture of a letter?
Okay. Because we were going through our wedding photos.
Yeah.
And all the boxes, and there's some lovely photos of an even younger Josh Elvis Weinstein and his lovely wife, Allison.
Yeah.
It's great. You can't believe, we had a lot of fun at that hotel.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good wedding.
And last, Friday, I saw Dave Alvin and Greg Leese.
And the Chipmunks. Sorry.
Dave Alvin and Greg Leese at McCabe's, and that was an amazing. They performed the whole King of California album, which is one of my favorite albums from 1994. That's how you know you're aging when you're going to a 25-year celebration.
And they're going, here's some new stuff.
So anyway, I don't know how I got on that, but because somebody from the wedding who was in Chris Gaffney's band was there at Dave Alvin's, and he was like, we were talking about the wedding. So everyone's been talking about the wedding recently. Because Chris Gaffney, who passed away, but was one of my favorite musicians, he played at my wedding.
Ah.
And you were there.
I was.
And he also had Rosie Flores.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember Chris Gaffney.
All right. I don't know.
It's too late now.
I can't do a bit. He's also my favorite musician and songwriter.
Yeah.
In many ways. And if anyone wants a Chris Gaffney album, my Mi Vida Loca is an amazing album, or Loser's Paradise. You can't go wrong with either one of those. So it was very fun to see all those photos
and to find out that many years ago, way before we had the podcast, that sometimes I could get a little concerned by how spicy things were. Hey, excuse me, chef. You're a little heavy on the hand with the aioli. Less A, more Oli.
I just loved how painted into a corner you felt after less A.
Well, I had a good one today on Twitter. Not that good, but I had dots, which was a shocking thing. It's an old candy.
Yeah.
And I used to love the way it looked. I had no memory of ever eating them.
Yeah.
It's the only candy that I have no memory of eating them that is actually an awful tasting candy. And my sister says that jujubes are even worse. They taste like mealy, like slightly fruit flavored gunk.
Yeah.
Did you ever have had one?
I've had many a dot in my life.
And what's your take?
They're shitty.
And they call them, you know what they're based, the concept is?
They're dots.
Gumdrops.
Yeah.
Gumdrops. And I realized I don't even know what a gumdrop is.
They're gumdrops without the sugar coating, basically. The thing about dots is there's very few candies, and I'm not defending dots. Don't get me wrong. There are very few candies, jujubes as well, where freshness is a huge factor and how good they are.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So I should look. I didn't bring them with me
because I can't. Dots are like one. There was various times growing up where we had to sell candy for things, for like Little League or B'nai B'rith or some shit, and often dots were one of the things that we sold. So I, of course, ate a lot of them because I was a fat kid selling candy, and I can tell you that the freshness is a major factor in the edibility of a dot.
I wonder if they on the
and the red ones are the only good ones.
Oh, I didn't notice that, except that on the side it says not made in a factory with peanuts or, so it's truly gluten free. So maybe early on they realized their angle was
no,
the B'nai B'rith would buy them. You know what I mean?
They were kosher, you mean?
Kosher or just. But the thing is, it's an example of something that I have a good memory of the visual of it in a movie theater case. Yeah, they looked good.
They're colorful.
But they're horrible. And that's not true of any other of those Good and Plenty, except that I ate a big box once, and that's a horrible thing to do.
Good and Plenty aren't good. I don't like Good and Plenty, but I love hot tamales.
Are they hot?
They're very spicy.
How hot are they?
They're spicier than you can handle.
I don't want that.
No.
I steer away from candies or foods. Anything chicken, I stay away from anything that could be perceived as being a little bit high on the Scoville stage charts. I don't know. That was really a good fun. That's what I call a good outside of the podcast find.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you said you're taking things from VHS and you're putting them on digital.
Yeah.
Did you any that sets me up for any other good finds for today?
Well, you
week?
reposted one of them today, from the Butcher's Arms.
Oh,
with Feig and Gruber.
I couldn't look at it because
doing the Love Boat thing.
I couldn't turn it up because I was. It was while I was having my iron infusion.
Nah, so you just retweeted it blind.
Well, I liked what was happening there because you're like this. You're doing this, right?
Yeah, doing a little bit of that.
You look very thin in that thing. I don't know why I'm doing that. Just shut up, Andy. Just shut the fuck up. Who cares? But if you looked different than I remembered you.
Hair. It was hair. I had hair.
You had a lot of hair.
Yeah. Hair, no glasses and that.
Well, that's not, one of our.
And a very flattering vest.
That's what it was. Who was playing drums?
Paul Feig.
Oh, okay. So I got to watch that later tonight.
Yeah. I posted another one too.
Cool. It must be very much fun to see these.
It is really
things.
fun. It's fun. It's fun on a lot of levels. It's fun because I'm doing this shit with friends 25 years ago and they're still my friends. It's fun because I go, oh, I've had fun all along the way. That's, I don't know. I feel like, for the most part, I've made good choices in life.
Well, in a very stubborn way, I decide, I still haven't looked at the Lewis thing, and don't yell at me, but I want to look at the Lewis thing on the big TV.
Okay, do what you want. I don't give a shit.
I know you don't, which is worse.
No, what's worse is you keep going, I'm going to watch it as if I'm hounding you or thinking about it.
No, everything about me is disgusting, and here's what I'll say. Most things about me are disgusting, and that is another one. But for some reason, I have it in my mind that I can't just simply ask you how you're transferring these things, that I have to figure it out on my own or something. And I'm realizing now that, because I got a thing USB to an HDMI, but I got a USB-C.
Yeah.
Or 3. So now I got to get an adapter to go into my USB port. But you're using a video recorder into what?
I'm using a VHS to DVD deck.
Oh, it's a deck that's built that way.
Yeah. So
like new?
Yeah, within the last 5 years.
How much do they cost?
I don't know.
I thought you...
Not much, a couple hundred.
I thought you were... I had you with soldering guns.
No, what I had to get was first of all, I had to get an adapter to go from RCA jacks to HDMI so I could monitor it. And then I had to be able to burn the DVDs.
Right.
So I use a program called Handbrake to import them from the DVD to the hard drive.
Because I was very proud of the way I transferred my old cassette tapes into a digital recorder and came out of that digital recorder into the computer, but I can't do that with pictures on my recording device. Because you see how smart I am, right?
Yeah.
I've realized that a device
If
that
that's
doesn't...
the upshot of all this, you're a goddamn genius.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like how much of a genius?
On a scale of Jeff Dunham to Einstein, you're like a Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Well, that's really... Who knows?
Yeah.
He was popular.
Pick your poison.
So what else do you want? I don't... Is there anything else you want to talk about before we talk about the movie?
Not much. I got, what do I have to do? I'm doing this Nielsen birthday tribute at Molly Malone's this week.
Oh.
Which we did last year, but I'm doing, I'm singing Cuddly Toy this year.
What does that mean? Is that the name of the club?
No, it's the name of a song. The clue would have been I'm singing Cuddly Toy.
Okay, that's a Nielsen song.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Monkeys did it too. You're not the only cuddly toy that was ever enjoyed by any boy. That one.
And his song is also on that show I like, Russian.
Doll.
Yeah, one of his songs.
Yeah.
is on that. And my friend Danny Capillion, who I grew up with,
Yeah.
he produced an album. I haven't spoken to him in a couple of years, but he produced an album of people doing Nielsen songs, like Amy Mann and Michael Penn did one.
Yeah, that's what this will be.
Yeah, like
It's a bunch of people all doing songs.
that's great. His songs are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Did he write Everyone's Talking About Me?
No, he just sang that one.
And he sang the... I mean, the guy must have been... If he wasn't a drinker... I mean, I'm not putting him down, but it did seem like he partied like really... I mean, I'm a partier too, but... but he was trying to party.
Right.
It seemed like just like a...
But he was doing it with like John Lennon.
I know. Then it's worth it. That's cool. So you're doing that at Molly Malone's?
Yeah. You're going to be in...
Minneapolis.
No, you're going to be in Calgary this week, right?
That's true. And I realized I'm in Minneapolis in July.
That's excellent.
So that's good. Usually have gone there before Montreal every year.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm also going back east. If anybody wants to head to my parents' house for her 90th birthday, it's a $5 cover charge.
Bring your own red cup.
Bring your own red. What's a red cup? Oh, it's those little.
It's the cup you'd have at a kegger.
Yeah, but that's not very Quakery. We have a old wicker.
A wicker cup.
Isn't that a joke? I don't want to say I'm old, but I have wicker condoms. I'm sure you've written that joke. So don't even try it.
So what do you think of His Girl Friday?
Okay, well, I wanted to say, when I watched this movie, thank you, finally, now we're talking, is what I want to say. I love this movie, even though I didn't understand a lot of it. I mean, but there were first of all, did they say, I'm just going to go right out here, did they say pickaninny, and was that a racist thing?
I didn't catch it, but I'm sure it was.
Okay, so that would, well, I would say take that out of the future cuts. No, but I mean, there were hilarious jokes in the movie, and I'd never seen a movie like that. So I kind of loved it, but I also kind of wasn't riveted to it.
Right.
And I read a little bit about it online, just a couple of, like the fact that they did a lot of improv and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I thought the acting of all of those guys were really like interesting, because I guess I haven't seen obviously a lot of movies. I think I've seen movies, but I haven't really seen a lot of movies. It seemed like very natural, not natural style acting. Yeah, natural style acting. Like not over the top. Like that guy who kind of talked, he seemed like a guy I knew before. He came in and he goes, I was coming here and I was on the way over there, and
the guy delivering the reprieve.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were like very, very like low key comedy and stuff like that. And it was almost like made for today in terms of it. It looked like it was made in reaction to the Trump thing sometimes. The way, just in terms of how much lying they did, how much lying reporters did.
Yeah.
Not like fake news, but just the idea of seeing.
Well, it was fake news.
It was fake news, but just seeing like, it seemed a different way of showing kind of how fucked up it is today with Trump. I mean, not as
Well, no, it wasn't that at all, clearly. Because it was made, 70 years ago.
No. No, I knew that, but I'm saying, like, I guess his things are so bad now that it almost, and we're in such a coma that you almost get into a coma about remembering how things have always been, kind of, and how that racket was at the time, the newspaper racket.
Right.
But sometimes it was very confusing. When I was confused. I mean, I would be confused at times. I shouldn't be, but
right. It got convoluted when it got to the parts about the political corruption and the governor and the mayor and the sheriff, and that part of the movie was all a little bit convoluted.
But funny, though. It says that all the things that they were saying, like the mayor would just go through all these things that he knew were, going with the newspaper people about how he was going to correct his lies. That was funny.
Everyone was doing pretty high quality shtick. I still, of all the Cary Grant movies we watched in the last couple months, this was certainly my favorite of them.
I thought it was the best that we've seen him in all these movies.
But I still am kind of taken aback by how much I don't think Cary Grant is a very good actor.
Well, what about Rosalind Russell?
She was great.
Yeah.
I thought she was much more actorly, I just think that Cary Grant does a lot of just cue card performances,
I guess I'm on the fence about it because there was some kind of thing.
There's some stuff he's great, there's some stuff where he's really in the pocket.
Yes,
and he is, but there's so many scenes where he's just sort of shouting his lines.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that. I also was...
Well, obviously, history is against me on that one, but...
No, I mean, you think it is? Is he considered...
Yeah, I think he's pretty beloved as a movie star.
Yeah.
And he's certainly charismatic, but I just, I don't know. I just feel like as a comedy guy, he doesn't play his hand all that well sometimes.
Did you like the whole tone of everything?
I did, yeah. Cool. I liked the overlapping dialogue, and you could actually feel the sort of improv in some scenes.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see in a movie of that vintage.
Yes.
To see people playing comedy loose, kind of, in some scenes. And it felt, it was cool. It was contemporary in that way, because you don't, like I said, usually everything is so choreographed and polished in a movie like that.
Yeah.
That you don't see any of the sort of decisions being made by comedians,
And there you did, when they would be sitting playing cards, it was I guess I was just amazed at how, and I think this is probably great directing, at how low key they could be, and they were all captured.
Yeah.
All those different personalities.
Well, you could tell it was a play, certainly.
That's true.
And you could tell, it was the front page originally, but you could tell in the way that everything was staged around that room mostly, and everything was, each character had their beats in that way that a play plays, the sort of go around the room.
It was like an alternative comedy movie almost.
Kind of.
One part, I know that's a parochial, whatever, it's a term that's really not, kind of useless, but I love the way the guy goes, because I didn't know, who is this guy playing him? He goes, does he look like? He looks very much like Ralph Bellamy. Mm-hmm. See, I love that kind of line.
He threw that one in, and he threw in also Archie Leach at the end, which is Cary Grant's real name. The last guy who did that to me was Archie Leach, and blah blah blah. He threw in.
Was that stuff? How was that viewed in its time? Do you know?
They were, they were winks to the camera. They were winks. I
don't know why I was thinking that's. See, I guess in a kind of, because I was younger when I saw those movies. Even I think of movies from the 40s, the 30s, 20s, and that in general things were more melodramatic.
Right.
But this kind of movie made me realize, well, that is kind of what you've seen and the time period you've grown up in, because this was very, what's his name, Robert, kind of had a Robert Altman feel.
Well, in terms of the overlapping dialogue and all like that, and and just the relentless speed of the dialogue, definitely had some of that in common. But it was, I don't know, it was a fun movie. Did I love it? Not really. I wasn't completely charmed by it, because it just, like every sort of farce, it just runs out of steam, you know. And
Yeah, because you're stuck with.
Well, once it's like settles in that room and the guy's, you know, locked away, it's
rough.
It's just running in place for about 25 minutes, you know. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the body and Arsenic and Old Lace and the cougar and, you know, the leopard and Bringing Up Baby. It's just like at a certain point, the farce part runs out of steam and everyone is just shuffling in place, acting stupid to elongate the plot, you know. Because
at some point with these things like, didn't Woody Allen do one about the Blacklist, or what did he do? Was like a front page, or I forgot the movie he did about news reporting. I'm not remembering.
Again, was it a Manhattan Murder Mystery? Or?
No, it was. I'm not getting it. But it's those. You are left with how much you like the plot. You know, not the plot, but whatever you want to call the plot. It is. It's the plot that gets in the way. The literal plot.
Right.
Of because you have to kind of. They in this movie didn't quite pull off that this was real. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you sacrifice that, who's shooting at us? It gets that wacky thing that just pulls at your believability.
It breaks reality. And,
yeah. So that's why, like, when I saw the Nuremberg thing, that was like, oh my God, these are really people talking from their soul about guilt and guilt by association and are you following orders, and you could feel the soul of it. That's not what these they describe them as screwball comedies, but this one I would say was like a much higher scale writing and banter wise, I think.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, this one is typically, you know, this is kind of top of the list when people talk about the screwball comedies of this era. This is, you know, this is one of the very tippy top of those lists always. And you know, it's a pretty classy movie in most ways, you know, and in terms of the feminism of it, you know,
it's amazing.
I think it was, you know, very strong. There was never.
No, they never even said anything about.
Yeah, she was just a.
Can you believe she tackled that guy? Even though you go, well, that looked a little. I don't know if it looked a little staged. I don't know what I'm saying.
But it wasn't a good stunt.
It wasn't a good stunt. But everything that just the fact that they didn't say, "Hey, look at us, what we're doing."
Yeah, and it wasn't. You know, she was a competent professional in a hard-boiled profession, and everyone treated her like a peer.
Yes, and that's the other thing too. Like, one of the things about Cary Grant is that you don't really understand. There's like an implied depth to the relationship between him and the woman. Well, they don't really supply much, except that they were married. It's like you just stumble upon that, really, where he's like a operator and.
Yeah, but you kind of get that they're birds of the same feather.
True.
You know? But
true.
You know, I think that's the bond that you ultimately feel between them, is they both are. Hungry for the story, but Cary Grant's basically a sociopath in this movie, you know.
Well, also, I like the idea, like, maybe this is the way maybe it's my own guilt about writing, but the fact that she can just, like, she's at the table, the fog came off of the boggy boon, blah, 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 you know, it's like how she was able to reel off these. She's a genius, see? I also liked hearing Sitting Pretty.
Yeah.
And things that I hadn't heard, you know, the expressions like, Gene Lockhart was great.
Yeah.
Was he played a lot of comedy roles like that, or not necessarily?
You know, I don't know, really.
That's a famous family, right? That's Gene Lockhart, June Lockhart.
John Lockhart, Joan Lockhart.
Are you making names up?
Yes, I am.
Ed Lockhart.
Now you broke the mold.
Sydney. Oh, what was the mold? The word mashing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I loved. I loved Ralph Bellamy.
Yeah.
Because the comedy that he was playing is not easy comedy where he's like the dumb guy. He's more like...
No, he was a very subtle rube.
Right, very subtle rube. And they get fooled and like, he would look, oh, really? What am I...
Yeah, no, he wasn't hamming it up at all. He was good.
And I was really...
It's always weird when you see, you know, like Ralph Bellamy, I picture as an old man. I picture Ralph Bellamy in trading places, and, you know, but he has the same voice in 1940 that he did in 1987 or whatever it was, you know, so it's weird seeing the young man with the old man's voice.
And he's still probably 40.
Yeah, probably.
Because he seems like, I was so wondering, like, it was weird. The thing also was that Jess, that was a good that was a good dynamic, was who he was. And he must have been, I'm assuming he was a great actor because he did a great job with it.
Well, and the Ralph Bellamy reference was strong enough to stay in the movie. So
that was so good. You know, the thing about things that are like presented like plays can be very effective, because I used to watch All in the Family, and to me that seemed like it was presented like a play.
Right.
But it didn't compromise the reality of the show for me. You know what I mean? Like, you knew it was a play, and you knew it was presented that way, but the emotions were so real, I guess, to me.
Yeah, I mean, that was the format of virtually every sitcom, though, really. You know, I mean, part of the thing that helped it along was that it was
great.
Well, it was great, but I mean, it only had to sustain for 25 minutes, too.
Yeah.
You know?
But you see, like, shows, Father Knows Best, they didn't seem like that. They just seemed like poorly filmed I guess they were just single camera shows.
Right.
So they were, okay, so you have to compare this to, like,
with an audience.
You have to compare this to, like, I Love Lucy, or compare this to, you know what's amazing, though? Like, Mary Tyler Moore, just as a kid, because you didn't probably have this experience, but as a kid, it just seemed, I knew it wasn't real, but it looked more like a office to me.
Well, I was always keenly aware of the difference between videotape and film as a kid.
And that was on film, right?
Like, Mary Tyler Moore was on film.
And looked
different than All in the Family, which was videotape. And I could never decide which looked more real to me.
I know what you mean.
You know? Like, which mirrored reality more as a kid. I still can't quite exactly decide.
I know those areas in Queens. So for those areas in Queens, it does seem like the videotape more captured just, I don't want to say the ugliness.
The dinginess.
The dinginess of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. Yeah. Taxi also. Well, I don't remember. But Taxi.
Taxi was on film, but in front of a live audience.
Live audience.
And so was Mary Tyler Moore.
And so was Seinfeld, too.
Yeah.
But they, anyway. So 3 stars, 4 stars, or whatever you want to give it. Give that any stars you want.
What's our possible stars?
No, we don't do that. We're jazzed. We're not so jazzed.
Andy gives it a l'chaim.
On the spicy meter? It's a little too spicy. And I said to myself, I should come up with something for next week, because I'm better when I'm on Amazon or Netflix.
Yeah.
I want to watch that, but this doesn't have to be for the thing. The Bob Dylan Scorsese thing.
Oh, yeah. The Rolling Thunder review thing. So should we pick one for next week? Should we go back to the AFI list, or do you want to veer away? What do you want to do? The next one I haven't seen is at number 44, My Man Godfrey.
What time period is that?
1936.
So what, is it a screwball comedy?
I assume so. If it's the 1930s.
Well, no, but maybe it could be like a noir.
My Man Godfrey is a 1936 American screwball comedy film directed by Gregory LaCava. The screenplay was written by Maury Riskand with uncredited contributions by LaCava, based on 1101 Park Avenue, a short novel by Eric Hatch. The story concerns a socialite who hires a derelict to be her family's butler, only to fall in love with him.
Okay, I don't think I can watch this
The film stars William Powell and Carol Lombard.
I'll watch it, but don't you think we should have something to clean the palate?
I wouldn't mind getting out of the 30 screwball era. At all. Hair of the Mud, Manhattan, Shampoo, A Shot in the Dark, To Be or Not to Be.
I can't believe A Shot in the Dark.
Let's watch To Be or Not to Be.
What is that?
It's Jack Benny World War II Nazi movie, Ernst Lubitsch Nazi movie.
Are you kidding me?
You've never heard of it?
No, I mean I've heard.
Mel Brooks remade it with Anne Bancroft, but
I know I've heard of it. Isn't it a Shakespeare line from a Shakespeare thing? To be or not to be? Isn't that the question? Is that Hamlet? Who is that?
Yeah.
Okay, so but it's nothing to do with Hamlet. It's
about an acting troupe playing Shakespeare during World War II.
I love it.
It's a funny movie. I've seen it, but I haven't studied it.
Now the fact that I wrote it on a piece of paper.
So,
have we watched a Lubitsch before?
I don't know if we have.
Ernst. Is that a German guy who came over here before Hitler took over?
That was like Billy Wilder had a What Would Lubitsch Do?
And Billy Wilder also escaped the Germans, I think.
Yes. But yeah, Lubitsch was a guy who went from silence to talkies.
Do you know if I come up during that time period of these people, you know what you would have heard?
What's that?
Do you remember that one guy? He was pretty funny. The guy, he was kind of like a coward.
Lubitsch!
No, Kindler, but he was too scared to try and leave.
Ah, right.
He was funny.
All right, we'll do that.
To be or not to be. Now, what are we going to have? Do we have good stuff for the break?
Did you bring anything?
I didn't. I could.
We can go with another one of my 80s comedy or teen comedy bits.
That's fine with me. I like it.
All right. I posted this the other day. This was me doing current event stuff in 1991.
What's up with this? Okay, let me see if I can guess some of the jokes.
All right.
This is great. Oh yeah, let's go back to the Gulf. Is there stuff about the Gulf?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to guess what the material because I had material back then, and we'll.
It's only like 2
Are you talking about 1991? Was that the first Gulf War?
Yeah.
Holy! It's
Desert
mind-boggling.
Storm.
What's that?
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm. It's mind-boggling. I remember I was in New York during 9/11.
Yeah.
I think 9/11 wiped off so many memories I had before that in a weird way. Like if 9/11 hadn't happened, I probably would remember more who cares? But the first Gulf War, I remember being very depressed about it because I just didn't trust Bush. And
I remember I have a very distinct memory of being in Kansas City during one of the major attacks of Desert Shield, I think, or when Desert Shield was getting up, and reading Andy Kindler's Hack Handbook that week while I was on the road.
Wow.
National Lampoon.
I didn't know you read that back then.
Yes.
See? I don't know what C means.
I didn't know you at the time, but
wow.
I knew who you were.
So now we know that was 1991.
Yes.
Whatever happened to me? I don't know.
Ronald Reagan is back in the news. He was in Washington, D.C. last week supporting the Brady Bill, which would institute a 7-day waiting period for anyone wanting to buy a handgun. One opponent. All right, I think it might pass. I don't know, it's just to do a background check to see if there's a psycho. You kind of wish Reagan would use the same little screening process before selling all that stuff to the Iraqis a few years back. I watched the war from like beginning to the end on CNN, and it was incredible to see all the technology we had. I mean, it was cool, Patriot missiles and smart bombs, and and they had the Scud, a missile about as accurate as Barbara Bush on a toboggan. Would have loved to have seen that. George, bam! Should have sent a Patriot across her bow, Vera, of course, a little bit. One thing that upsets me about the war is we'll never know what SCUD stands for. As far as I can tell, it's like system completely underdeveloped, I think. It's got to be a tough thing to sell. A missile you can't aim. How do you do that? But you can't aim them. So what? You guys hate everybody. That's the problem.
Well, I forget. Oh, and we're back. I forget who had the Scud missiles.
The Iraqis.
Oh, yeah.
It was a missile that they just lobbed, basically.
Right.
You know who loved that joke? Bill Hicks loved that joke. That was the joke that made Bill Hicks friends with me.
Oh, the Scud joke?
Yes.
Well, that's true. It's so hard to remember to hate Saddam Hussein.
I know.
That's like a thing.
No, I like that clip just because it's all so of that. You're like, who the fuck remembers that Barbara Bush broke her ankle sledding?
Yeah, that passed by me.
Yeah, the whole thing. I think.
Where is that?
That was at the Comedy Gallery St. Paul.
Wow, that's a big room, huh?
It was about 500. Yeah.
Was it a great room?
One was, at times.
So, in other words, I didn't realize. I knew he had the Comedy Gallery in downtown Minneapolis, but how many did they have that were? But was this the only other one that was huge?
This was the biggest of all of them. Yeah, this was. That was peak Scott Hansen.
And I'm sure he respected the space and made sure to keep everything wonderful so that people would keep coming back till today.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know, he
Did he have good taste?
He had okay taste. You know, he would bring in good acts. He would also bring in a lot of, you know, old road hacks too.
Right.
But you know, I saw plenty of great acts come through town when I was coming up, you know.
Yes. That was a great, that's just such a great city in general but there's so many few names I remember now. I think of Louis Anderson. I think of, who else?
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to remember.
Cesario?
I'm just trying to from there.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
I'm just talking about all the great acts that they brought.
Oh, that came through that room.
Town.
Yeah.
No, the people from town were like Louis Anderson and Cesario and Hodgson and Liz Winstead and
I keep forgetting she's from there.
You know, and then later Maria Bamford and Jackie, but that original crew was like Louis and Joel Madison and Cesario and Alex Cole and Bill Bauer and
And then who do you remember the other headliners, like the national people?
There was like the Jimmy Wiggins kind of old road guys, and then there was, I saw Dana Gould there, I saw Rob Schneider in the early days, I saw Jake Johansson, Emo, there was always good people coming through. Paul Poundstone.
Rob Schneider was a funny stand-up.
Yeah, he was.
He's not so funny now.
No, he lost a step somehow.
And not only that, but he doesn't seem that nice. No, keep it down. Yeah, seems like an unpleasant person. I've heard this, and don't want a lawsuit from Rob Schneider because I know he's a listener.
Yeah, of course.
But the thing is, it's also somewhat quaint to remember how much we hated Bush.
Yes. Yeah, no, I wasn't holding that up as genius. I was just holding it up as a little time capsule piece.
I wouldn't even. I'm not even reacting to that. I'm reacting to the fact that it's sad in a way how we don't remember how horrible he was because he.
Well, this is Bush Senior.
And he was hard. Bush Senior. I actually, when he wasn't president, he'd hang around with Clinton, and there were things I liked about him. And Tom Arnold, he was nice to Tom Arnold, and all these things. But he was a horrible president, and his picks were his pick for Clarence Thomas might have been the worst pick of all time. Well, Clinton was a mixed thing too. So I don't know. What were your feelings about Bush? Did you dislike him or like him or?
I disliked him, but I didn't dislike him. I remember feeling like first of all, I actually saw material about me, like there's Dan Quayle material I did, and I was actually like fucking taking shots at him for being too young. Like, oh my God.
That's pretty funny.
But I don't know. I felt like George Bush was a legit figure. You know what I mean? Like I felt like.
Yes,
he was a heavyweight in his, even though he was scoffed at as a lightweight in his day.
Yeah, that was unfair because he was
a
World
vice
War
president.
II.
Yeah, but he was World War II. He was head of the CIA.
The CIA is a negative, but still.
No, I know. I'm not saying that made him a good person. I'm just saying it made him understand how the world worked.
I'm just thinking about Hicks liking that joke, and now Hicks. Oh my God, he just hated that whole. I remember how much he just. Was so depressed after Bush beat Dukakis and but also he was hilarious about it too.
Yes. All right, let's go to questions.
Questions we have, and people ask them on Thought Spiral today.
Nice. All right, let's start with Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Sometimes I like to go on my balcony, light up a joint, and stare off into the distance until I spot the location where 12-year-old Andy Kindler was rummaging medicine cabinets for drugs at his grandmother's apartment.
Is he in Florida?
Yes.
Is he in Miami?
I don't think he's in Miami.
Oh, man. Sure. I don't think... I'm scared to say I was 12. I hope I was 14.
Yeah.
Don't you think 12 is a little young to be... I don't know. I can't remember... When I started smoking pot, I think I was 13 or 14. 15. Yeah. How old? No, when I say if I'm 15, it means I was 13.
Okay.
14.
Were you getting high by your bar mitzvah?
I don't think so. Were you?
No.
Yeah. So I think it was 14 or 15.
Jim Meehan says, I thought at times Cary Grant did a pretty awkward imitation of Curly Howard in Arsenic and Old Lace. Would have been even more awkward in Judgment at Nuremberg, though.
He did a little sound in this movie.
Well, nyuk, nyuk, nyuk.
Did you like the horn? Now I realize why they call them the blower and the horn, because they're like horns.
Yeah.
And they had tape around them. This was I would have made a meal out of these kind of jokes, all right?
Well, you're not doing it now because you're only doing pantomime on an audio show.
Duffy. It's not scoring as high?
No.
Does it argue for a simulcast?
Iram says, won't you take me to Schmoopy Town?
Won't you take me to
Spoopy Town.
talk about it. Don't violate the copyright. Don't violate the copyright now.
That was a Minneapolis guy. Lip sync. Funky Town.
Who did that song?
Yeah.
You're always bragging about the Minneapolis.
I know. Mad City Architect says, attention cable news, new show idea, Crossfire with host James Mason and Dr. Joseph Mengele.
Tonight on Crossfire, we have James Mason
From the left. Who's from the left? From the right.
I think Dr. Mengele would be on the right.
And from the left. James Mason from the right. You can't get any more right than this. Dr. Mengele.
Yes, and welcome to the show. It's good to be here on Crossfire. I'm James Mason on the left. On the right is my counterpart, Dr. Joseph Mengele.
Hello. I'm here on the right. I'm not sure why I'm here. I noticed some Jews backstage.
Whoa, easy.
I said I'm on the right.
Now, what is our topic for today?
Why? I don't know why I'm participating. You give the topic.
No, I think you should.
Oh, the topic today is what should we do about Cuba? Should we open the door more to Cuba?
Well, I don't think it's good that he was molesting young women in a club at all. I think that's very wrong of him.
I agree. I think Cuba Gooding Jr. should be imprisoned.
Oh, my God. You went the other way.
You could tell that you didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, so I had to.
I can't tell from that video. Is it bad what he's doing on that video, or he just puts his... Who hasn't?
I'm not sure what he did, but...
He put his hand somewhere. Where are you going to put him?
I have no reason to defend him.
I have no reason to attack him. But I think in general, when you hear about these things, you have to say he's wrong.
All right.
Hey, Cuba Gooding, more like Cuba batting.
Yes, more like Cuba batting, indeed.
You like doing that voice. It sounds good. You do it with a lot of comfort. I like that.
Well, how can you not be comfortable with a voice like this?
How can you not be comfortable? How can you not be comfortable with a voice like this?
Mad City Architect also says, Josh, I stole your joke about Sarah Sanders quitting so she can take more time to lie to her family. Twitter joke. It got big laughs. Can you forgive me? Yeah, I can. In fact, I can especially forgive you because I ended up deleting that joke because, I saw 3 other people do the same joke. So
yeah, I could see that.
I knew as I was typing, I was going First Thought Theater.
Right.
And I got a bunch of likes on it, but then I was like, 2 other people did it that I knew, and I was like, yeah.
I have done as a staple more time to hate the family.
No, of course, yeah. It's a joke template.
It's a joke template. But is he now? But you're happy with people doing it on their own time?
Yeah, go for it. I don't care. Just don't do it in a club.
No, we don't support We don't support stealing.
Luke Hawley says, ever fall into a YouTube spiral? Oh, God, yes. I once got hooked on beekeeping videos. That's some time I won't get back. Yeah, oh, God, I fall into YouTube spirals all the time. Usually it's with interviews with people. Like I went on the Orson Welles bender last week.
Because they keep teeing up another one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's real easy to go down the YouTube rabbit hole.
I haven't done it in a long time, but I have so many other rabbit holes to go down.
Right.
Just like type in Ricky Gervais.
Right.
But this is more fun. This could be more fun and...
It's a little more nutritious than a hate spiral.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't defend my spiraling.
Speaking of your hate spirals, Gare Joyce says, Andy, how do you ration your vitriol about the business so that you still have enough gas in your tank to eviscerate blowhards and bastards at JFL in Montreal? He hires me.
I don't know. I actually feel like, sadly, like I was going to do a joke about how, people say, has the speech been good for my career? Obviously, I'm here. I'm back here. Right? Would I be back? Would I be doing
a little
it?
Insulting.
It is, but it's true. Would I be doing it for 20 years if I had been catapulted in some other stratosphere? I know. But I actually feel better about the speech than I used to. Who knows? I'm setting myself up for more disappointment. However I feel a month out, I just should stop setting myself up and just do whatever it is that I think I'm going to do.
Right. Well, you've gotten a lot calmer since I've come on staff. I know that much.
I think I'm more calmer. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Well, I know how to work with people better. Not really. I'm terrible in every way. That's my new shtick.
All right, it's settled.
No, Josh, I was kidding.
Stanford Blake says, where would each of you live if California was not an option? If it's the U.S., I would go maybe back to Minneapolis, maybe Chicago.
Chicago would be a good choice. I could think I still have a San Francisco dream sometimes. I wanted to go to Hong Kong until everything. Maybe you think they're going to win?
They did, I think, for the most part.
Do you see that one kid? He's like 14. I mean, these kids are like they're unbelievable.
There's fucking 2 million people on the street in Hong Kong.
And there's only 7 million people, the one guy said.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It was amazing. I posted this video today of them orderly, like an ambulance going through this crowd of hundreds of thousand people, just almost effortlessly parting for it. It was very cool.
Wow.
But I really liked Hong Kong. I really like that place.
I know.
I like the people. I was there right before the last giant demonstrations.
I'm excited about it from you guys going there, and they can't extradite.
I would love to go back and
why can't China
eat my way through the aisle this time?
Can't China leave them alone? Is China doesn't think they can? You know, I always think like these people who are despots will act rational, but why? Is there any chance they'll just leave them alone?
Not a big one. I mean, it's really. I mean, no matter what, you know, they're 35 years away from becoming part of China again.
Right. Fully?
Yes.
Oh, I don't like. I thought they were going to do it. Oh, I don't know enough about anything. They can't happen. They can't. Don't they make a lot of money from Hong Kong too?
Yeah.
Maybe their only money? No, they make
not
a lot
their
of
own,
money.
no, not at all their only money,
Yeah.
but it is a huge center of international trade and finance.
Yeah. Everybody, you know, I'm telling you, I'm really starting to have doubts about this communist system. You know, like I look at North Korea, I don't like it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a whole different system in China than North Korea. That's for sure.
I know that. I mean, I'm not bright, but I do know that China, they didn't open their wall or open their door, open door policy. We've been trading with them recently since Nixon.
Yeah.
Okay. And all I can think of is Trump. So I can't think of any topic that doesn't, like the new thing with Iran. Do you trust Pompeo?
Okay,
Sure.
just let me remind you that the question was if you didn't live in California.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I would. Oh, it's California, so San Francisco can't even work.
Right.
I think part of me wants to go to Austin, but I think it's too hot in the summer.
Yeah.
Maybe Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to leave.
Denver's an okay choice.
Or Oregon.
Larry Harold says, yeah, Portland
Portland would be cool. Or Seattle.
Portland has the vibe that I used to like in San Francisco.
True. So maybe we should move to Portland if we have to, or Seattle.
And it has Kenny and Zooks. So.
Yes.
Larry Harold says, Andy, Jelvis, you two alone on a desert island forever. What topics are off limits?
His attraction towards me.
Anxiety, OCD,
The possibility of us hooking up.
Anything homoerotic that Andy keeps bringing up again and again. And
even now. Even now, you're trying to tick off.
Put a moratorium on it here at the table.
You're trying to tick off normal things. Let's see. What else would you not be into? Coffee.
I'm not going to talk Woody Allen with you on the island.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be able to accomplish the anxiety thing because I'm just going to be panicked and yelling.
I know. That's why I took it off the table.
Yelling.
We can't talk about anxiety or death. How about that?
Can we talk about how I keep going back and somehow blaming you for the mishap?
Is this coconut spicy?
You had the big idea that we should go on a vacation. I don't want to be on an island. Unless it was like a Gilligan's Island.
Well, we'd have all those nice albums with us.
That's a positive.
Yes. Seth Dobson says, Josh, when I first heard you speak on Marin, I thought you sounded like H. John Benjamin, if that makes you feel any better.
What were you on, Marin?
I was on Marin with you. Andy.
Oh, I thought you were on the show.
No, I wasn't on the show.
Well, that would be good to be considered to be sounding like H. John Benjamin because he's got a golden voice.
I think that's in reference to last week where he wouldn't tell me who someone thought I sounded like. So, or someone wouldn't tell
Are
me.
we doing continuing bits?
Some people
via
are.
email?
So you're excluded from them. But
Because I have no memory.
Exactly. Aisha Farhood.
Hi, Aisha.
Question for Andy. Why did you choose Taekwondo over other forms of martial art?
I kind of chose the teacher. So the teacher was teaching that. And it just happened to be that it's a good martial art for Westerners because it challenges your flexibility. So even though it's built for a Korean's body, if you are a Westerner and you can learn to do some of these more intense kicks where you really put your hip in, it was very frustrating, but I did enjoy learning it. But mostly there was the teacher I went with.
There's something vaguely racist about built for a Korean's body, but I don't know. I'm not going to dive in.
Built for a Korean's body, but made for a woman.
Right.
Well, the thing is, whenever I start talking like that, there's a certain, I'd say 30-40% of blowhardy is in there.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain to you the differences between the different. People don't even want to know. I just have to show off.
Right. Chris Olson says, hey guys, love the bits from Josh's comedic past. Idiom question, do you knock on wood or touch wood? Thanks from Osaka.
I never heard of touching wood.
I've heard of both, but I'm a knockwood man.
I am a knockwood person. And then I make a joke. I always do this. I knock and I go, it's for Micah, and people love it.
I always have to stop Allison because she'll say knock on wood and then knock on wood. I'm like, you just do one or the other.
Oh.
So saying knock on wood is a replacement for knocking on wood.
Bingo.
And vice versa.
I never thought of that. This is the kind of efficiency techniques that you bring to the table.
Yes. Velvety says, today is one of the funniest eps of Thought Spiral. And the email tweet writers are so clever.
Were you happy with today's episode?
The one that came out today?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. It does seem like people enjoyed it, though.
I saw
more than average.
Yeah.
Dan Wade says, hi, Josh. Enjoyed hearing about your pellet smoker. Curious if you're also a sous vide enthusiast. I'm not.
What is that?
Sous vide is a cooking technique where you seal something in plastic and cook it in water at basically a low temperature for a long time. You basically set the water for the temperature you want the food to go to. So it's a good way of doing meat. If you cook it that way, it cooks nice and evenly through, and then you sear it afterwards.
I see.
But,
sounds like a pain.
It is kind of a pain, but it's a.
What is any plastic bag?
No, like a vacuum seal. Okay. Generally.
Have you ever done pressure cooker deals?
I have, but it's not my bag.
Yeah.
But I love the pellet smoker. I really do.
How many more times have you been? 2-3 more times?
I've had it about 10 days. I did steaks, ribs, a chicken. I smoked a brisket this weekend.
Ooh.
And I made salmon tonight.
Has Allison been happy?
Very happy. As have I. I did a good job with the brisket. That was an all-day thing.
Any tips you can...
Low and slow, baby.
Slow. Go slow.
Yeah. In fact, I would probably do it slower.
Ooh.
Than last time.
Are you ever going to go... You're not going to try doing a pastrami. That doesn't...
I might.
Can you cook it on the pellet thing?
Yeah. You just got to brine it right.
Let me know when that happens.
I'm thinking what I might do is a smoked corned beef first, so I don't have to do all the actual brining. And I think it'll come out pretty pastrami-like.
Do you like the corned beef at Zook's? I haven't had it, I don't think.
I've never had it. I'm a pastrami guy there.
Yeah.
But I may try to smoke a corned beef just because it seems like a nice shortcut to something pastrami-like.
I just like that you're so excited about it.
It's really good because it's super easy and, all you got to do is the thinking.
Right.
Mark Thompson says, Josh, listening to the Comedy on the Road set, 20-year-old you is an audio separated at birth with 70s play-by-play Bob Uecker. Okay.
I'll take it.
Just a bit outside.
He's alive, right, Uecker? Why do I ask that? Now, if he is alive, he's probably upset.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Joe Garagiola I believe, is dead.
I think so. Enlightened Misanthrope says, I've heard this term influencer as of late since I got a middle-aged comedian to review a great movie instead of a seemingly horrible one. Does that make me an influencer? Another movie for homework, The Seventh Cross. More Spencer Tracy, Nazis, and current day implications.
Ooh, The Seventh Cross.
Michelle Weisgarver says, the first 15 minutes of Test Show 110 had me actually wiping tears of laughter off my face as I drove to work today. God damn, you guys are awesome.
This makes me so happy. This is why I do the show. I don't know why you do it. People ask me why you do it. Maybe it's an addiction.
I do it because you do it for Michelle Weisgarver.
And when Michelle says that, just the image of that, it's just like, it's pressure inducing. Not really. I can't.
It's too late. We've already.
We already
did the first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
of
but
this
it makes
week's,
you.
and it's
boom.
not. It's a
Right.
it's a letdown.
I'm glad we didn't do the letters at the beginning of the show.
Exactly. Endless Michelle Hellstrom says, are either of you skilled in what I like to call the degenerate sports, like billiards, darts, bowling, pinball, etc.?
I'm not particularly good at any of the ones you mentioned.
I can't say I am now. In my life, I've been a good pool player. And I've been a good pinball player. I've never been particularly good at bowling, and I'm a mediocre at darts.
Yeah, I would follow the same thing that you said.
But I'm above. I can rise to an above average pool player if I've practiced.
That's good. How about Papa Shot?
Not that great.
Yeah. No. Skee ball?
Skee ball I'm pretty good at, actually. Seth Dick III says, what percentage of true quote unquote stories told in long threads on Twitter that end up like O. Henry stories do you think are made up? Probably a lot of them, but as soon as I see thread, the chances that I read it go down immensely.
How do you make a thread? Just by adding on tweets?
You just keep answering to yourself, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I know how to do it. Thread. I have read some threads that were great, so I don't want to discount it.
Absolutely, but it's a turnoff to me.
Yes. Anything that makes Twitter longer.
Right. Seth Dick III also chimes in with, I once had a flat tire and had to wait for AAA. The tow truck driver who changed my flat, unless I am sorely mistaken, was none other than James Mason.
So, what seems to be the trouble?
I think it's my starter is going.
Oh, well.
It could be the battery.
All right, well, you called in with a flat tire. But that's all right. May I see your AAA card, please?
I left that. The thing is, I left home.
You're a liar, aren't you?
You nailed me. You nailed me, mister.
I believe that we could probably get past this with a, how shall we say, an honorarium.
Like a bribe?
No, an honorarium.
Okay.
For, let's say, $200, I could get you to the nearest service station.
I don't know what generation you're from, sir, but it's a lot of money for a flat tire.
How much would you pay to have James Mason change your tire?
I think it's an internet, and that would make you an influencer.
Greg Kelly says, Andy, are you coming to Acme in early July? Want to go to a Twins game while you're in town?
Are the Twins competitive right now?
Yeah, they have the best record in baseball.
I don't see how I can go because I don't even think they have day games anymore.
Yes, they do.
What day? Maybe. I'm writing.
No.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. I'm writing the speech.
Not have to say no.
Well, but I don't. It's not like the. It's also, isn't it close to the club?
Yeah,
Not far.
it's close.
All right, maybe. Well, I don't know.
He's not going, Greg. But it's nice of you to ask him.
I didn't know they
he
had.
didn't even say thanks for the invite.
Greg, thank you very much. And I'm just the reason why I sounded weird was I start worrying about the speech, and I always have a feeling I'll be writing that speech.
Tweet Bahara says, I YouTubed Josh's terrific set from Test Show 110 break, but all I found was Egon from Ghostbusters doing the exact same material in Josh's voice.
Oh my God, that's a.
He's saying I look like Harold Ramis in the 80s.
Oh,
The 80s. I can live with that. I can live with that.
yeah. You're a Harold Ramis type.
Yes, I am. 80 Morgan says Test Show 110 opened with the funniest 10 minutes in living podcast history. What's next for you two? Bigger and better things or resting on laurels? There is no correct answer.
I'd like to rest on some laurels.
Yeah, fuck
I'd
them.
like to keep it going. I'd like it to make the next 10-minute opening the funniest thing.
Heather M. says, I'm about to do my first ever comedy contest. What's the best comedy advice you've ever received? What's the worst you've ever given?
I can't say I've given terrible advice because I'm very conscious of not wanting to.
Yeah.
The best advice is, I always think, is to not be hard on yourself. Try to just write jokes and like Leno.
Yeah.
But don't think too much about what was good, what was bad. Certainly not for a while.
Right. Best advice I've ever gotten? I don't know. Probably someone just saying, just keep writing.
Yeah.
And,
well, Alabel gave me the best advice, which was basically telling me that the material I was doing was kind of like not great material, but he said it in a nice way.
yeah, that's good. As opposed to Louis C.K., who told me I had good material, but I was performing it terribly.
I love that he had a lot of that Bill Cosby arrogance. And I'm not comparing him to Bill Cosby in terms of the offense, but the arrogance.
Yeah.
Like Bill Cosby wished everyone Happy Father's Day yesterday.
Yes. From America's father, from America's dad. Yeah. And I have to say, even though she didn't ask it, the worst comedy advice I've ever been given was, of course, do a Chinaman.
Was that from a family member?
That was from a manager of the Rib Tickler in Minneapolis.
Was he joking?
No. Nope, he was not.
Do a Chinaman.
Do a Chinaman. Yes, that was his advice.
Was he 100 years old and wearing a hood?
His other advice was do something with music, with a guitar. So I figured out later that this was all based on the fact that his favorite act was Dana Carvey.
Chickens make a bad house pets.
Like Taba House Pad. Yes.
They make Taba house pets.
So that's what I figured out is the advice is he was saying be Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey would not give you the advice to rely on his...
Do a Chinaman. I said, isn't that racist? He goes, no, it's funny. It kills.
Oh, so good. So good to be here tonight.
Cargo 21 says, what is the first hit single of Peter, Paul, and Westerberg? May I suggest that it's Here Comes a Regular Magic Dragon. The video is just a single shot of a billowed sail. There you go. It's self-contained.
I like it.
Leah says, since Frank, oh, that's right, we didn't talk about Frank Conniff, is currently recovering from his procedure, what's your favorite story about him not involving crispy fries? Frank,
well, first of all,
Frank had heart surgery this week.
I tweeted him, I texted him. How is he doing?
It's all third hand or second hand, but he's doing okay. He's recovering okay.
He responded to a text I wrote.
Did he?
Saying thanks, so that was good to me.
He is not, I've tweeted, texted, and emailed him.
Well, I think it was because it was on the original thing that he sent out that day. I'm in the hospital. I hope he's okay because I love him so much. I don't have a favorite story, but I have favorite bits of his.
Yeah.
He does his bit about the people who like Friends, like the people who are like, it's a good show. People like it. You know, the guy who's like has no real opinion of himself. And I love his tomato face, which is the guy who's going to catch on like Carrot Top.
Yeah.
And then let him go, yeah, tomato face. Love that guy, tomato face. Because he can make his face all red.
Yeah. I have so many memories of Frank. I've known Frank since I was 15 years old. So most of what I think of now mostly is being on the road with him with Cinematic Titanic and just all the hilarious times he panicked because he thought we weren't going to be able to eat soon, or the hotel was going to fall through somehow. Or he was very quick.
Is he a nervous traveler?
He was always nervous. Yeah, we were always going to be late for the airport. He was always just spinning off the worst case scenario. So.
Is he down in the lobby early?
No. No. We were frequently waiting for him. But I
wish you
love
the
Frank.
best.
We both wish you the best, Frank. I know
please
you're not listening.
get well immediately.
But much love.
Has he had health problems before?
He's had some.
He's had some.
Not major.
I think he's going to be around a long time.
Dave Campbell says Arsenic and Old Lace trivia. The part of Jonathan, Raymond Massey, was written and played on Broadway by Boris Karloff, hence the running gag. Karloff couldn't do the movie because producers of the play wouldn't let him. This made Boris very upset.
Did he say, fire? I don't know if he actually says fire. Doesn't he say that as the monster?
I just want to keep stringing you out with it.
Put a fire a little bit near me, okay?
That was good.
I am so excited. That's the first time I've seen you make any effort at something that clearly couldn't be seen. You played along with me. Because I don't know if you think people know this, but during the podcast, and this is very strange, I'm like doing a voiceover audition. I'm making a lot of gestures. I'm winding up.
Yes.
And Josh says it's exciting to watch.
Is that what I said?
No.
I think concerning was
Concerning.
the word I used.
Is what you said. Concerning.
Yes. Jordy says Test Show 110 was like a murder cast, the way J. Elvis Weinstein killed it. Wow, I want you to stop. Lucky and Josh and Andy's Kermit Belafonte impression of Sting. Looking for Andy Kindler to bring it high and tight in Test Show 111. Smoke up, Johnny.
Yeah.
Hashtag forget about it.
Forget about it. I love any.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yes.
Hey, when I do
It's our Vietnamese Italian restaurant.
oh, forget about it. You know what my favorite pho place is? For crying out loud is good.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to do a series of anything. One now.
You know what the Vietnamese reviewers of your show said?
What's that?
Oh, for fuck's sake. David Gogo says, does Andy have any thoughts about dots? Someone was reading Twitter today.
I got to tell you, they are so terrible. But now that I've heard that they could be fresh, that changed it for me. You know what the shock was?
What's that?
The shock was I thought I was going to like it. Because it's so rare that a candy from my childhood, unless it's the wax bottles with the liquid, stuff that was jawbreakers that were weird then. Right. I always think, I don't think I'd like sugar babies now.
No, sugar babies are fine.
All right.
They're just like Milk Duds, kind of.
I don't know if I like Milk Duds that much anymore.
Yeah, you would.
Better than Good and Plenty?
Yes.
You know what? I agree to disagree.
Again, freshness is a big factor with Milk Duds.
Which I think I told you the story that I was in a band with a guy who worked for Hershey's, and he, in some kind of distributing thing, and he would give me the candy when it was expired. Yeah. And it was all the candy that he gave me was all that, crackle and all those little
Special Dark.
Yeah.
Those little ones.
Those little ones.
Yeah.
And it is true.
Mr. Good Bar.
Once Mr. Good Bar, and once they're expired, it is true that they still taste fine.
Right.
But once you've had more than 2 or 3 bags of them, you want to kill yourself. It's the worst. It's worse than, it's terrible.
Yeah.
The semi-dark.
Yeah. Tweet Bahara says it's fun to listen to the latest TS episode as if it's shot like the Honeymooners. Josh leans out the tenement window. Andy, come down here. Andy bursts through the door. Hey, Joshy boy.
You know what that means to me? He's 2 weeks away from walking away.
Yeah.
If he has to imagine us as honeymooners.
Yes. Are we in black and white, too?
Yeah. Oh, you know what's been good recently? I've imagined that you're Laurel and Hardy.
Perush says the pile of Horseshack J. Elvis Weinstein wisecrack got me rolling on the floor with a bunch of colleagues trying to pull the headset off me.
Wait, he's listening to the show with colleagues?
I think at work, probably.
Oh. I'm wondering if people didn't work, if they would listen to us. Like, would you go home excited about the new Monday show?
I don't know.
I do not. I have to be the first person to say that I do not normally listen to podcasts at home unless I'm doing my chores.
I would think the viewers work. It's the show that doesn't work.
Wah, 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 wah.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I just felt the need to make a sound.
God damn, man.
Hey, don't.
You demoralized me completely.
No, come on, Josh. I must say one thing. I don't think you wear baseball hats a lot. And I like you in a baseball hat.
Why, thank you.
And yes, it is going to get sexual. It's going to get. It is going to get uncomfortably sexual.
I finally have the lack of hair that can pull off a baseball hat. All right, let's go to a few emails because I feel guilty about not answering a lot of emails.
Let's do that. We've been very bad with those. Maybe.
All right. Christopher says, I have to say the Abbott and Costello meet Joseph Mengele bit in Tesha 109 was one of the most inexplicably funniest things I've ever heard in my life. I suppressed violent laughter at my desk for about 20 minutes, knowing I could never successfully tell anyone why. Kudos on an unquotable viral masterpiece. Why, thank you, Christopher.
I like that. I like that when it's verboten. When it's verboten at work, you're scared to, and I'm not talking, and it's not because you're watching porn.
Yes. Abdullah says, hello, good sir, Mr. Weinstein.
Who's this?
Being Abdullah.
Okay.
Or Abdullah. I'm going to go Abdullah. Hello, good sir, Mr. Weinstein. Being a consumer from Canada, am I going to be able to buy your album? Because certain products, i.e. from Amazon, cannot be shipped to where I am, Ottawa, Canada, but there is a Amazon Canada. Obviously, I have a visa, but on July 1st is the pre-order date then, or the 13th, I believe he said.
Wow. Talk about somebody who wants, who's a supporter.
Josh and Andy, thank you so much for doing the podcast. It's amazing. I only wish it's twice a week or 3 times as opposed to a Monday.
No, the quality would fall down.
So to answer your question, I don't know if it's going to be available in Canada. I know it's not going to be shipping because it's all going to be download. It's not, we're not doing physical CDs.
Even if they want one?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you just said.
Yes.
My apologies. I see. The only thing I'm against that is that
What?
I haven't had anything to sell on the road, so I'd like to sell something, like when I go on the road, a new thing. Like if I had a new thing,
well,
I'd
you
like
should
it.
do physical CDs. Then.
Oh, I am going. Oh, I am going to do it. I am. Oh, don't worry about it.
I'm just not on the road enough to make it.
I thought about that.
Sense,
I thought about that. Yeah.
And I hate fucking selling shit.
I don't like selling things either. I don't like selling either, but I felt if I had something, it would give me a reason to.
Yeah.
Lewis told me years ago to get something.
I mean, I know,
He's right.
People make thousands of extra dollars a week doing it. So,
but I have refrained from like pencil and pen sets. I mean, Zazzle, sure.
Sure. Jeremy says, your show is like a plate of spaghetti. Messy, disorganized, and my favorite. I'm a Gentile from Vegas. I'm 36, and this background is important. I don't understand your Inside Hollywood Jewish old movie or half your other references at all. My wife asked me what the hell you guys were talking about, and while tears leaked from my eyes with laughter, I simply shrugged. I listened to Tesha 107 because that is when I learned of your show. After finishing it, I went directly to number 1 and have listened to 9 episodes in the last 2 days. I would rather listen to Andy interrupt Josh than speak to any other human. I love your show. I can't put it down. I can't wait for more surprises like Josh's baby voice. I like this guy.
Do you do a baby voice?
Or Andy's inner dialogue interrupting himself. Please tell me what I can do to show my support. Well, that's pretty supportive.
I think you couldn't do any more than that. And that makes us so, I mean, again, I sound like a broken DVD, but it makes me so happy. I mean, I never even imagined that could happen because it's exactly how I respond to the shows I like. But it's hard to imagine yourself enjoying yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to sit back and watch my comedy.
Right. Although I've been enjoying watching my comedy from 30 years ago.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's got a little zets.
I got plenty fucking tired when I was editing the album of my current comedy. Lynn, our friend Lynn, who does our transcripts for us.
Hi, Lynn.
If the two of you were contacted tomorrow with an offer of a remake of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy with Andy as Arthur Dent and Josh as Ford Prefect, would you be up for it? The mantra "Don't panic" seems perfect, or prefect, haha, for Andy and Josh would be the voice of for Andy and Josh would be the voice of reason, as always. Or perhaps you'd like to play another part. Thoughts?
I know it's good stuff, but I'm not familiar with it. Do you like that stuff?
I do. I did like Hitchhiker's Guide, and I think the question was answered as soon as if you were contacted tomorrow with an offer. Pretty much didn't need to go on after that. But yeah, no, I would do either Ford Prefect. I could see Andy maybe going a little Zaphod Beeblebrox as well. But
is it one book?
Well, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is one book, but then there's sequels.
Oh, well, I have to get familiar with this.
Yeah.
I missed that time period. It's like 20 years
Good
ago?
books. Yeah, more.
Oh.
Douglas Adams. He also did the Dirk Gently books.
Is he still? He's still around, right?
No, he died.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, way to go.
Nice going, Andy.
Kevin says, Dear Josh and Andy, my 44th birthday is coming up in 2 weeks, and I still don't know where I'm supposed to look when my friends and family sing happy birthday at me. It's a very uncomfortable experience. Do you have any advice, Kevin?
I think what you should do is close your eyes and pretend that you're really working on the wish.
I think that's good advice. Absolutely. Maybe do the clenched fists a little bit. Well, just kind of squeeze your eyes a little bit, so it's kind of like...
And you can also go, oh, guys, please, not again, or something like that. But I think it's, maybe you should open up to it.
Maria in New Mexico, I will be caught up by the end of June. 2019 is near. I love the introduction of The Homework. Yeah, she's catching up now. The movie you guys acted in, and Andy constantly reminding the audience that he has changed. Surprising how deep you guys get into your personal struggles. Appreciate that. Love, love, love the podcast. I have abandoned all other podcasts.
Wow. I mean, I can't even believe it. And then I just started to think, like, we haven't had a heavy talk in a while. But you can't force it. You can't force it. But I have so many deep thoughts going on, Josh. Where do you see the vulnerability I'm going to show? Down the line. If you become a Patreon member, you see more vulnerability.
That's right. More with each price point.
Yes.
You get more vulnerability.
I am just happy.
Patrick says, I'm driving in Hollywood and I set my GPS voice to Dennis Miller.
He doesn't realize.
Hey, take a hard right on Cahuenga. Hey, how do you get to Rancho Cucamonga from here?
Hey, if you want to visit downtown, it's a little bit more gentrified. Cha-cha-ching-ching-ching.
You sure you have the gelt for Calabasas?
Banjo says, great show, guys. I've gotten to the EPs in the mid-80s in a few weeks of listening, and it's become one of my favorite podcasts. Hopefully you're still taking listener questions and requests by show 110.
We are.
Hell, even by 111. I'm writing from North Dakota. Yes, the lowest listener state as of episode 20. I like all the music. Karen, Temple of the Loaded Gun, and Green Day something song are always running through my head in the best of ways. Hope to hear some old stand-up as well. Good things are coming for him.
And now is North Dakota, I would think we have a lot of people in North Dakota.
I'd like to hear just a little bit of this North Dakota stand-up material that Josh keeps teasing. Maybe we can turn these North Dakota listener stats around. Thanks to both of you cheering up.
I like someone who's out there helping us market in these small towns.
Absolutely.
Well, it's not even a small town. What part of North Dakota is he from?
He doesn't say.
I'm thinking Fargo. Thank you.
Nancy says, oh my God, I love you guys. I work remotely and drive to my actual workplace 1 to 2 times a month. I've been on a TS binge during the 4-hour drive, a godsend. Andy, I am also a true crime consumer. You must listen to a podcast called Cold, which documents the disappearance and probable murder of Susan Cox Powell. Not gory or gross, but full of despicable characters and ending in the ultimate tragedy.
I love it. Cold.
Josh, you're a doll and what I might also call an old soul.
This is great. These people are happier, are more excited about us than we are.
Yes.
About us.
Let's leave on that high note.
Okay.
Since we're not getting any more funny, we're just getting praise now.
And who needs, it's too much with the praise. People.
So if you're going to praise us, go to iTunes and praise us with a high rating and a high review and a nice review. How about that? That would be helpful for us.
Please do, and don't fool around. And do it just like Lyft. Good car, nice conversation.
Right.
I forgot the other two. Clean car, nice conversation.
Go check out our shirts at Zazzle.com.
If you're in the Minneapolis area, see Andy Kindler at Acme, but I think I cut off your
First,
Zazzle.
you're in Calgary. If you're in Calgary this week, go see Andy Kindler. If you're in Minneapolis in July, go see Andy Kindler. And if you're thinking about me, pre-order my album on July 1st, and it comes out on July 12th.
When you hear this, I thought, for some reason, we'd banked about 9 shows. But no, we've banked no shows.
We've banked no shows.
So if you are listening to this next week, I've already been to Calgary.
No, all right.
Yeah, it's this weekend.
It's this weekend. We plugged it last week.
You plug it, and then but shouldn't you be? And don't forget my mother's birthday. I don't know why I keep saying that.
I don't either. She's not listening, thank God.